WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Big up everyone and welcome back to another episode of Transfer Weekly. We're now at episode 8. And once again, obviously the news is going to be highly centered regarding our whole Europa League situation. We have obviously released an appeal to CAS. So within the next 10 days, I would expect by Friday we'll know whether we're in the Europa League or the Conference League. But transfer news has been quite slow. However, once again, similar to last week, there have been these little bit of news upcoming, mainly about players that other teams are linked to our players as opposed to us linked to their players. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see what comes from it. As we said last week, some of these rumours may be nonsense, but we're still going to bring it up to you, keep you up to speed with it. So yeah, engage in the comment section regarding all these transfers and as always, up the Palace.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to Transfer Weekly. This week, I'm talking about the player I should have spoken about last week, and that is Manchester City's James McAtee. He plays predominantly in the central midfield and perhaps also up in the central attacking position as well, so mostly around about the 8 and 10, but has been known to play on the right wing hand side. He has spent pretty much predominantly most of his career at Manchester City, 2 loans to Sheffield United as well, one in the 2022-23 season and one in the 23-24 season. He has racked up a huge amount of appearances across his total career, almost reaching 200 now, 198 appearances in total, 67 goals, 37 appearances, almost right about 178 minutes per goal. So that's a decent record, and overall has spent 11,943 minutes playing on the pitch across all domestic competitions save the UEFA Super Cup. So he has played a vast amount of games and a vast amount of competitions that have been available to him. He has reportedly been allowed to leave Manchester City this season, with the club placing a 20 to 25 million pound price tag on the central midfielder, which for a 23-year-old of great standard, I think is a bargain, especially in the current market where we're seeing players leave for ridiculous amounts of money. 20 to 25 million is perfectly in our ballpark. That's a fee that I think the club would definitely pay, and we have been linked with him across various medias reporting that Crystal Palace were interested in James McAtee, but nothing concrete, nothing to suggest that we would actually make a serious bid for McAtee's services. Just this week, in fact, Sky Sports News reported that McAtee was invited to visit Eintracht Frankfurt over in Germany, who play in the Bundesliga, just to have a look around their facilities, but no bid was placed, no medical was set in stone. It was just an invite just to see if they gelled, if they got along, but nothing more off of that. Pep Guardiola certainly trusts him. I mean, he's played a ridiculous amount of games for Manchester City, going from the under-18s to the under-21s and up into the senior squad. So this is a player that Pep Guardiola has been able to rely upon. He's been in the squad multiple times. He's been able to score multiple times as well, and is certainly able to fit into whatever role Pep required of him whilst playing, either starting or from the bench. Yeah, again, the price tag, 20 to 25 million. I think it's spot on for a player that would be registered if he did come to Palace, would be registered under the UEFA legislation of a nation homegrown player. So that would help. He would obviously help our vast amount of homegrown players in Premier League registration as well. We have a huge number of those already, but one more doesn't help. Doesn't hurt, rather. Help, hurt. Anyway, so just this last season, just gone. As long as I bring up my stats. So this past season, the 24-25 season, in total, 15 appearances in the Premier League, 3 goals. In the FA Cup, 4 appearances, 3 goals. In the League Cup, just 2 appearances, but in Europe, 5 appearances in the Champions League with 1 goal as well. So this is a player who's actually been able to set his mark in Europe as well. Obviously, he's gained the interest of Frankfurt and more clubs. We would have to fight them off. We would have to fight Nottingham Forest off. Big news there. We have to fight Nottingham Forest for something else. Anyway, that's for a whole nother time. So would he fit? Yes. I think I need to stop asking myself this question whenever I do these videos, because I think any player would look at Oliver Glasner's system and look at how Ismaila Sarr plays, how Ebere Eze plays. They range from being wingers and then coming close to be 10s. Potential pause there. I think it's that first team football that I think he would get in a midfield that is aging. Jefferson Lerma is nearly 30. Will Hughes nearly 30. Czech Decore might not have that level of ability anymore after 2 critical injuries that have taken him out for seasons. Adam Wharton would benefit from having someone who he actually has played with on the international stage as well, with England. So I think we should go all in on McAtee, because 1, registration, 2, experience, 3, youth. He's not old. He would bring the average age down by a significant amount. But it is the dagger in the air that hovers over us, because what competition are we playing in? So I think until this situation is resolved with UEFA, it's going to be a pretty difficult show to attract any player to come to Selhurst Park. But that's my view. Enjoy the rest of the show, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Up the Palace, and screw UEFA, and screw Forest. Good night.
Maxence Lacroix, a 25-year-old French international, signed for us at the back end of last season. And he's had a very successful season for us. Now, there were specific fan bases who were mocking us about the signing because they deemed to have signed our better centre-back. But Lacroix's come in and obviously have been a fantastic replacement for Joachim Andersen. We signed him for £18 million in total, which is 50 million starter with add-ons, which will go up to £18 million, which I believe we have actually met, because obviously with our successful FA Cup win. Now, the centre-back, unbelievable player. But these are the rumours that are coming out. Now, don't take them for gospel, guys, but these are the rumours that are coming out. Both Tottenham and Borussia Dortmund, and these are both links allegedly from L'Equipe, are saying that they're interested in signing the centre-back. Now, granted, obviously, he signed for us last season, so it's not going to be a case where we're looking to lose him anytime soon, especially knowing that Mark Gay is more than likely to leave this summer. But either way, it's you can see the plus side and the negative side that a lot of our players are being linked to so-called bigger clubs, which shows the progress they have made under Glasner. But on the flip side, we are not in any way, shape or form ready to lose both Mark and Max in the same window. But let's talk about him as a player. Now, as mentioned before, I think he started off the season obviously trying to adjust. We didn't have a good start to the season in general. And I think he found it difficult at times because I think he was a bit too aggressive in his defending. There were times where he would really, if the striker dropped deep into a midfield area, he would really follow and try and nick the ball there. And if he didn't nick the ball, it would leave holes and gaps in behind him. But as the season went on, he got a lot more comfortable and he just thrived. Attributes that really thrived for him is his recovery pace, his ability to defend 1v1, recovery tackles. He just made himself a fan favourite, and no better way than being a fan favourite is that we kind of expect him now to come over to the fans and cheer whenever we win, which is a great attribute. He's definitely going to become a future captain for the club as long as he stays. I believe the only other one maybe Dean Henderson will be in with a shout. And this is all assuming Mark leaves. But yeah, as a defender, definitely leadership qualities. He's an incredible centre-back, very strong in the air, very strong physically. And obviously ended this campaign with 1 goal and 1 assist, playing that centre-back. Now, another feature of his which is very underrated, especially because he kind of got things wrong at the start, but as the season got on, he was just incredible with it, is his passing. He's got the ability to do short passes through the lines, but also he's got a decent little ping. And those diags, more times than not, are from his position at central centre-back, going towards left wing-back, towards Mitchell. You don't see him do as much towards Daniel Munoz. That's more of like Mark Gay's sort of range when they spring in a diagonal. But he is a centre-back that is phenomenal. He's got all the attributes. He's a winner. You can tell he's a natural winner. You just look at his quotes back when after we won the semi-final against Villa. He said, listen, we're going to this final. Wembley will shake and it'll be beautiful. And his performance in the final, along with obviously Gay and Richards, and big up to Lerma as well for jumping in as well, just epitomises how much he helped solidify a very strong unit. So yeah, look, if he was to move to Tottenham, I think it's obviously on the back of the rumours about Romero, who may be going to left Atletico Madrid. But if he was to go to them, honestly, partnership with Van der Ven will be incredible. Obviously, with Thomas Frank, we're not too sure whether he'll play 2 defenders or he'll go for 3 at the back. But either way, Max will just fit in seamlessly. And especially if, and I'm not expecting to still deploy this high line, but if they did continue with that, Max is a great defender in the sense of him and Van der Ven both have pace to be able to make recovery challenges. The other club, obviously, Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, this will come as in the sense of where Max could go back to playing in Germany, where he's obviously accustomed to the Bundesliga. But all in all, I don't see this happening. It is a rumour that's come out. I think he's definitely happy at Palace. It's only been 1 season, especially with Glasner, and Glasner would not want to lose this centre-back. So, yeah, don't think he's going to make this move. And I think he's just happy to be here. You can see the relationship he has with JP as well. Like, he just has a lot of banter and whatnot. And we definitely need him if we're going to continue getting all these players who have faith, because it seems like prayer corner is definitely working for our goal celebration. So, yeah, that is Maxence Lacroix. I think the only thing I can mention now, the only thing I can add is if he is to go, we've got to be like stubborn with the price. Yes, we signed him for like 15 rising to 18, but we need to be saying, look, if you want him, 60 million at a minimum. Absolute minimum, because that is how good he is as a centre back. And remember, he's only 25 years old, so he'll be coming into his prime as well. So that was it for me regarding Maxence Lacroix. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this transfer is holding any weight? I don't believe it is at all. And if he is to go, how much would you want an absolute minimum for him? But let's move on to the next player.
Yes, people, it's Nate here, Eagle-Eyed Football, here to talk about the rumours circling around Jezan Rak-Sakyi and his immediate future in SE25. So, before I get into who's linked with him, why they want him, and do we sell him, let's talk about who Jezan Rak-Sakyi actually is, and does he have a place in the Crystal Palace team, or is it best to cash in on him and promote the likes of França and Deveni as more better squad rotation options ahead of the new season? So, Jezan Rak-Sakyi has been with Crystal Palace since 2019 after he joined from Chelsea's youth setup, where his younger brother Sam still currently plays. Rak-Sakyi normally plays as a winger and has had 2 loan spells away from Crystal Palace, which I'll get into in a second, but he has made 8 appearances for the club in the Premier League, but is yet to score a goal. So, does Rak-Sakyi have a future, and what clubs are interested in him? Well, does he have a future? I think that's down to Oliver Glasner. But me personally, I'll tell you more about how I feel in a second. But what clubs are in for him is the more pertinent question. And the clubs in question are Wolverhampton Wanderers and Glasgow Rangers. So we've got a team in the Premier League who we're in direct competition with, and a team in Glasgow Rangers who obviously have a very steep history in Scottish football and also do quite well in Europe. Now, both clubs are prepared to table an offer of up to £10 million to sign him from us. And if you look at it, £10 million for an academy player, it's not great, but Rak-Sakyi's not a guaranteed starter, and he's not going to touch the likes of Wan-Bissaka or Zaha for the fees we can demand. So realistically, £10 million for a player that's on the fringes of the team, you can't really turn it down. Me personally, I'd like to think he'd be given another chance. I think there's still more he could offer the team, but Oliver Glasner and the coaching staff may feel otherwise. They may feel it's better for him to be moved on in order to give more players in his position a better chance of playing. But Rak-Sakyi was on loan at Charlton Athletic for the 22-23 season, where he appeared 43 times and scored 15 goals, which is not a bad return for a winger. But obviously, that's League One football, and as a Crystal Palace fan, I've never seen us play in League One, so I can't tell you if that's impressive or not, but he got into double figures, so that is something to consider. And then last season, he was on loan at Sheffield United as they attempted to bounce back into the Premier League at the first attempt of asking. But sadly, they failed to do that. Obviously, we saw that the likes of Sunderland, Leeds and Burnley came back up, with Sheffield United staying in the Championship for another season. So, is £10 million a good offer for Crystal Palace to take in? In my opinion, I would say yes. Because Rak-Sakyi, for me, good player, showed a lot of promise, but hasn't been able to secure a first-team spot. And with the steep competition he faces in the team, it may be best for his career and for the club to move him on. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail here because I don't want this video to drag on too much, folks. But as I said at the top of the video, £10 million with a link to Wolves and Glasgow Rangers. If you had to sell him, would you accept £10 million if you're any of the hierarchy at Crystal Palace? Or would you keep him to add a bit of squad depth ahead of the new season? Let me know what you think, people. And I'll be sure to check you for the next one on Transfer Weekly. Thanks for watching, folks. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, up the Palace. Eagles!
Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying Transfer Weekly. Big up yourselves and big up Rich. So I'm talking about Odsonne Edouard, who is rumoured to be moving away this summer. He has been deemed surplus to requirements. I believe that was probably the case last summer. That's why he went on loan to Leicester City for the season just gone. He has been linked back with a move to Celtic. I can see the reasoning behind this. When he was there, he made 196 appearances for Celtic and scored 89 goals in all competitions. So a tremendous return from him. He moved to Crystal Palace in August 2021. Unfortunately, he did okay to begin with. he scored on his debut against Tottenham Hotspur, but has never really become too prolific, with his best goal scoring season being the 23-24 season with 8 goals. And in terms of like a goals per game ratio, that would actually be his first season where he managed 6 goals in all competitions in 31 appearances. Could argue that maybe he wasn't utilised in the best way. He was never a single striker up front. He was always the kind of striker who would, in a classic 4-4-2, would be the one playing off a bigger striker. But we've never really played that system under Patrick Vieira or under Roy Hodgson, so you can maybe see why it never really developed into anything. In my honest opinion, I think from that point onwards, it becomes a case of no confidence and no development in that sense. And now he is 27 years old and will be 28 in January. Is this a good time for him to move on? I think so. I think he went on loan to Leicester last season and managed just less than that, 29 minutes in all competitions, making 4 appearances for them. Sorry, not in all competitions. He made 6 appearances in all competitions, 4 in the Premier League, a combined total of 116 minutes, so less than 2 games over those 6 appearances. So if he's not being favoured at a Leicester side who are on the way, or who did get relegated, you do have to question whether he is good enough for the Premier League anymore. There's also the question of, is he good enough in a Glasner system? Or like I said, when we played under Roy and we played under Patrick Vieira, there was a feeling that he wasn't utilised in his best way, and that's because we did play with only one striker up front. Obviously, now under Oliver Glasner, I know we did try to have 2 players up front with McAtee, but really we only play with one striker. And with that in mind, would he fit our system? I don't think so. With the addition of that, obviously we have bought in Nketiah. Whilst Nketiah's not had the best season, arguably, he's still done all right, and I would say would have done better than Odsonne Edouard. In fact, I would say Oliver Glasner saw him not as a striker option at all, by the fact that he always played him in that 10 position, just off the striker. So I don't think Glasner ever really saw him as a striker, to be honest. And obviously, I think in terms of his own development, going back to Celtic, would that be good for him? I mean, no disrespect to the Scottish League, but it's not the quality of the Premier League, so he would find it a bit easier. He's also playing under the same manager that he did, Brendan Rodgers, when he was there, so he would understand how to get the best out of him. And I think for his own benefit, he's very much loved up there. Like I passed through Glasgow on one holiday and was watching a Palace game and had a long chat with a Celtic fan who absolutely loved Odsonne Edouard. And that seemed to be the case for a lot of Celtic fans, even though there was an argument that he down tools at the end. Yeah, I think there's perhaps arguments that wasn't the case, but there hasn't been any fees bandied about. In fact, in terms of his contract, he has his contract expires next season. So if we did want to get any money out of him, it would have to be this summer, or I guess in January, unless he was to move abroad, obviously. But yeah, there hasn't been a fee bandied about. But that said, even though he has been linked with a move away, apparently Brendan Rodgers has said that he's not heard of this deal. But that's not to say that it isn't in the works or it hasn't been inquired about. Or maybe it is the papers just putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. Who knows? But overall, doesn't fit our system anymore. He's on, and also another thing I didn't say, he is on higher wages. So if we can shift him off that wage bill, that would be very beneficial to us. If he was to do it, I think it'd be a good move for everyone. His own development, for our development, and to help rebuild our squad a little bit. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching my section about Odsonne Edouard. And I hope you enjoy the rest of Transfer Weekly. If you haven't watched any of the others, please do. They're a really good roundup of everything that has happened. Obviously, it's been a bit quiet at the moment, what with the European appeals, but I imagine as soon as that's sorted, when we know what competition we're in, then we'll do some more business.
So that brings an end to Transfer Weekly episode 8. Big up to everyone for their contributions. Look, we obviously hope that we don't lose, especially some of the key players that are allegedly being linked away from the club. And hopefully by Friday we'll know our destiny regarding Europe, so we can actually go ahead and make progress in the transfer window. But as always, appreciate all your support. Like, share, and subscribe, please. And as always, up the Palace. Yeah.